Hello, and welcome to our Toastmasters International Speechcraft program. This is session 4 of 4. I am the Speechcraft coordinator. My name is Teresa Banks, also nicknamed Terry, and I'm a DTM. DTM stands for Distinguished Toastmaster, which is the highest level that one can reach in the Toastmasters organization. As I mentioned during sessions 1, 2, and 3, we have 5 individuals that are named and pictured here that have registered for the program. They are known as the Speechcrafters, and I want to thank each and every one of them for their participation and give them a huge round of applause. I also mentioned during sessions 1, 2, and 3 that we have 8 individuals that have prepared speeches. They are known as our presenters, and they have been speaking during our Speechcraft sessions. They have truly been reliable and dependable, and I want to give all of them a huge round of applause as well. During our Speechcraft program, we have been going with the Speechcraft theme, harnessing your powerful voice. And some of us joined Toastmasters International to overcome a fear of public speaking, almost like a fear that one may have of dinosaurs. But we have learned that fear is similar to an acronym that stands for false evidence appearing real. And by way of Toastmasters International, we have had a chance to improve our speaking, listening, and leadership skills. If you are not a part of Toastmasters International, I highly invite you to go to the Toastmasters.org website and click on an area that says Find a Club. You'll see another section pop up that is exactly like this, where you can enter your address and location information. Toward the bottom, press the Submit Search, and you will find different clubs located in your area that you can certainly visit. There's another section here that says Search Options. You can click within there and enter information in there. And then toward the bottom, press Submit Search again, and you will see additional clubs listed based on your search criteria. I highly recommend that you come and visit one of the 2 clubs that I'm a member of, either the New Faith Toastmasters Club, which is these clubs that is sponsoring this Speechcraft program, or the Hispano Americano Toastmasters Club. We would love to have you visit either of the 2, or certainly another club of your choice. Tonight's agenda is before us now. I will provide the timing constraints for our presenters. I will then introduce our very first presenter. We will hear his speech, and then we will engage in a question answer session. I will then introduce our next presenter. We will hear her speech, and then we will engage in a question answer session. I will then conduct a Speechcrafters roundtable, and then I will close our program out. Now, for our 2 individuals that are presenting, they will be speaking for 8 to 10 minutes. And during the time that they are speaking, I will assist them in knowing exactly where they are with their timing by changing the color of my background. At the 8-minute mark, I will change it to green. At the 9-minute mark, I will change it to yellow. And at the 10-minute mark, I will change it to red, at which time both of our speakers will have 30 additional seconds to wrap their speech up. Our very first speaker, Julian Wiley, DTM. His title is How to Evaluate Speeches efficiently and effectively. Julian Wiley began his Toastmasters journey in 2009 when he joined ABA Speakeasies, club number 9424. He has served District 103 since its inception in 2017 and was the recipient of the District Toastmaster of the Year Award in 2019. He is committed to lifelong learning. Therefore, he is a strong supporter of speech evaluations as a means to educate as well as evaluate. Please help me welcome Julian Wiley, DTM.
Thank you. Thank you, Terry. Can you all see my screen?
We can.
Okay. Again, thank you, Terry, and hello, fellow Toastmasters, and especially our Speechcrafters. It is my pleasure and honor to be a part of this event tonight. We're going to discuss the following resources that will help you be an effective and efficient evaluator during club meetings or other venues. First, we're going to talk about how to use your eyes. Your eyes are very important when it comes to evaluating and giving that very important and constructive critique. Also, we're going to learn how to use your ears when it comes to evaluating. It's very important to use your ears. The good thing is you have two ears, so you have twice as much capacity to really tune in on what the speaker is saying and give your honest and encouraging feedback. Next, use your emotions, but not all of your emotions, only the ones that will help your speaker gain the confidence that they need to give more speeches in the future. And then also take a look at the crossroads. Where does effective and efficient meet? If you're incorporating these two things, how do you find the center point for these two qualities? I'll discuss that and reveal the intersection later on. But first, using your eyes. When you're sitting attentively watching the evaluator, you want to be aware of what you see. You are taking in so many things when the speaker is presenting their speech. It's important to take note of these things, and when it's your time to speak, you want to incorporate I statements or first person statements. What does that mean? That means I see that the speaker shifted back and forth to denote time and space in the speech. I also noticed that the speaker was looking down and had less eye contact and engagement with the audience. So make sure you put focus on yourself, the speaker, and not on you as to what you, the speaker, did or didn't do. Also, be aware of what you see in terms of gestures. Gestures are very important to help illuminate the quality of a speech and to denote time, space, and other factors. Be mindful of movements also. When it comes to movements, sometimes going from one area to the next denotes a shift in time or change in characters. Be mindful of these when you are doing evaluation criteria. Look for other things that also catch your eye because it's important to take note of these things and to give that evaluation when it's your turn. Also, be objective. You want to give your feedback, not your advice. Be mindful. What you observe is really what they can interpret and help them in their goals. But you do not want to offer an opinion, only observations. They can derive what you are saying by your objective observation. Next, you want to use your ears. What did you hear during the course of the speech? How were their vocal technique? And by that, I mean, how was the pace of the speech? Was it fast paced? Did it denote anxiety and fear, or was it slower paced? Did it denote calm and relaxation? All those things are important to notate and listen for when you give your evaluation. I always love the power of the pause. Did the speaker provide enough of a beat or a pause to denote a space for maybe a light chuckle or a laugh, or a time to reflect on a very deep topic or statement? How were the pauses used during the course of the speech? Very important. Also, vocabulary words. I'm a sucker for rich vocabulary words. If they use very big words, notate that and let them know what you heard and and how it was applied. Also, read the room. Did other people in the audience, if there are others, the other people in the audience at the club meeting or another venue, did they also laugh? Did they gasp in disbelief? Also, listen for that and make sure that you notate that in your evaluation. Also, use your emotions. And when it comes to emotions, you want to be emotive when you evaluate. Give the same enthusiasm and same excitement that they probably did as well, because that is part of your job as evaluator. Because guess what? You are also being evaluated for your responses to that speaker. So give them the same energy that they intend to give others during their speech. Be emotive. Also, be positive. Notate what they did and try and avoid things that may sound negative. Like, oh, I noticed that you didn't say this, or you looked down too much, or anything that would denote negative elements of the speech. Give a positive slant to it, but still be constructive. And also be appreciative at the start and the end of the evaluation. When it comes to giving evaluation, say, you know what? Thank you. Thank you for your speech about insert topic. I appreciate how you, one, and then two, and then three. And then make sure at the end of evaluation, wrap it up. Say, all in all, I enjoyed the way you gave us a great summary of insert topic. Be mindful of that as well. When you do the emotive part of the evaluation, you're also creating rapport. And you're creating a rapport that will imbue confidence. And confidence is the main benefit of being a Toastmaster. You know how it feels. So make sure you imbue that same confidence when you give your emotive, positive, and appreciative evaluation. Now, when it comes to being efficient or being effective, where do these two qualities meet? Where do they intersect? This is very important. Well, they meet at the intersection of empathy. And empathy is defined as the ability to share someone else's feelings or experiences by imagining what it would be like to be in that person's situation. Guess what? That's a no-brainer because we've all been there as Toastmasters. Speechcrafters, you'll get your turn too. You will be able to be more experienced in giving speeches, and then one day you will give your own evaluations and you will know exactly what it feels like. So share that experience. Share that symbiotic experience where you can empathize with that other person. Make sure to imbue empathy when you give your evaluation. So once again, you want to use your eyes with I statements and also be objective when you see the speech. Use your ears. Listen for varieties in vocal technique. Did they go too fast? Did they go a little too slow? Or did they have a pace that was indicative of the tone of the speech? Did they use pauses effectively? Notate that. And also read the room. Did everyone else seem to respond to the certain vocal techniques given? Notate that. And also use emotion. Be emotive, be positive, and be appreciative to that speaker for taking the gumption to get up on that stage and give that speech. because you know what? You've been there too. So show them that you understand and that you appreciate their time. Empathy. Again, you have been in their shoes. So make sure you understand that they understand that you've been there and show that relationship, that connection, that you can resonate with them when you give your evaluation because you have been there too. Here's a quote from Michelle Obama, our former First Lady. Your success will be determined by your own confidence and fortitude. I highlight confidence because that is the key to helping your speakers to continue giving great speeches. When you evaluate, you are the main ingredient for helping them build their confidence and to give more speeches again and again and again. Thank you. If you have more questions, please feel free to email me at this address. And also, I'll put a link into the chat window to download my slides and other resources to help you be more an efficient and effective evaluator. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Speechcraft Coordinator.
Wow. I absolutely loved your speech. Everyone, either by way of an emoji or hands, like wonderful Elizabeth is doing, let's show some appreciation to our first presenter, our first speaker being Julian. Outstanding job. Thank you so much, Julian. We have been moving to our speech crafters to see if they have questions after our presenters have talked during our first, second, and third sessions. And today will not be an exception. Let's go ahead and kick things off with Gerald. Gerald, any questions you have today for Julian?
Thank you, Julian, for that encompassing speech. I had a question about emotions. Sometimes when people are giving you a speech, sometimes they can give you a speech of something you don't know about or don't agree about or don't like. How do you control your emotions so that you give them a fair evaluation and don't let your own thoughts interfere with that in the evaluation?
Great question, Gerald. I think it's important to note that when someone's giving a speech, you're evaluating the actual content of the speech and not the speaker. Now, if the content itself is what you don't agree with, I can understand that. We're human, we have our own attitudes and belief systems. However, it is important to imbue that same principle of being objective. You may have a difference of opinion, but you can always find some middle ground somewhere to agree with, or just find certain parts that you can align with. Now, it won't always be easy, but the important thing is to be objective and to separate the speaker from the speech. I hope that helps.
It does. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, great question, Gerald, and wonderful answer, Julian. Let's move now to Letitia. Any questions from you for Julian?
Thank you, Madam Speechcraft Coordinator, and thank you, Julian, for that great informative content. This is a very important topic because I have not given many evaluations in my Toastmaster career. I do need to use this skill in my work life, so this is great advice. I do have a question about when you are evaluating someone who is giving a speech. Do you have any thoughts on how do you remember what things you are going to evaluate them, at least the presentation of how you're going to present that to them?
That's a great question, Letitia. There was a recent contest, speech contest earlier this year, and one of the contestants used no notes. I have never seen that before in my life. I've always seen evaluators look at their crib notes and to be able to find their information and have that evaluation on the ready. There is a tool in design thinking which is used by design professionals. There's called an empathy map. An empathy map has a quadrant of 4 boxes, and it involves being able to put yourself in the place of a customer or a user. And those 4 boxes is how you feel, how you think, what you do, and what you say. If you can find a way to correlate that empathy map into a quick recollection as to what the evaluation should contain and what you should capture, try the empathy map. I'll put that also into the link that I provided, the Dropbox as well. But again, try and think of a four-box system to remind yourself what the speaker is saying and what they're doing, what they're probably thinking, and what they're probably feeling, and use that as your guide to help you give the evaluation.
Thank you so much. That's very helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Letitia. Outstanding question and powerful response, Julian. Thank you for it. Let's move to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, any questions from you for our presenter, Julian?
Yes, Madam Speechcraft Coordinator. Thank you so much, Julian. I love evaluations. It is absolutely one of my favorite portions of being a Toastmaster. So I had a great appreciation for your presentation. You touched on some very salient points. I want to ask you if you can share an experience where you had an evaluator who completely missed your point and therefore did not give you an evaluation that you may have agreed with?
This is a great question, Elizabeth, and I think it's important to mitigate that by meeting with the speaker prior to the club meeting.
Okay.
Sometimes the speaker just wants to hone in on certain elements of their speech. And if you evaluate, and this goes also for the speaker, if the speaker wants to make sure that they have a very effective and efficient evaluation, try and have some time offline to discuss with the evaluator, okay, can you please evaluate me based on these bullet points? Not guaranteed that they'll actually do it, but you at least try to confine the evaluations to those criteria. Now, also, sometimes it's not always what they say, it's what they don't say. If they provide some negative feedback, then guess what? They're probably not paying attention to the positive elements of your speech. But again, it's best to try and meet with them beforehand so that you can confine, help them focus on the constraints of what you want them to evaluate on. I hope that helps.
It did. Great answer. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Wow, Elizabeth, that was a unique and really interesting question. Thank you so much. And thank you, Julian. We will all know what to do moving forward if we have any concerns in regards to our evaluation. Let's go to one more speech crafter, being Gail. Gail, do you have any questions today for Julian?
Yes, well, thank you, Madam Speechcraft Coordinator. Yeah, Julian, thank you for that wonderful speech. It was very enlightening because I am just now starting with valuations. Okay, I have a question. If someone gives a stellar speech, and you cannot see anything that needs improvement on, what do you do? What direction do you go in that instance?
Great question, Gail. I think there are no perfect speeches. I think there's always room for improvement. And as a self-avowed lifelong learner, I know there's always room to grow and to prosper into various areas of what I want to learn and build knowledge from. So by that, I'll say this. Definitely show appreciation for all the many highlights of their speech, because that's still a great confidence booster. I would say watch more Toastmasters speeches. Watch more speeches online and see what other people do. I wouldn't say compare to the experts like the Simon Sinek's and the Les Browns or the Brene Browns, but I would say get more of a toolbox of speeches in your mind frame so that you can have a more of a comprehensive evaluation. The more you watch, the more you notice, and the more you'll be able to give the evaluations that will help that person, no matter how ebullient and amazing the speech is. I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, I do appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Very, very good answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. What a thoughtful question. Thank you, thank you. And Julian, thank you again for speaking with us tonight. Well, we are certainly not done yet. We have Martha Brock Leftridge, not DTM1, not DTM2, DTM3. She has gone through Toastmasters International's program 3 times to achieve the DTM level. Truly our role model. Martha, you will be speaking tonight on the title Giving and Receiving Feedback. Martha Brock Leftridge has been a dedicated Toastmaster since 2009, and she brings extensive leadership experience. Her pivotal work as District 103's Club Retention and Club Coach Chair from 2022 to 2023 was instrumental in the district achieving distinguished status, a historic first. Martha currently oversees her club's educational programs as Vice President of Education Officer. Martha is also the driving force behind MBPRP, a full service PR and photography agency based in Gilbert, Arizona. As expert communicators, creative thinkers, agile networkers, and elite event planners, MBPRP serves as the celebrity maker, helping clients define messages, tell stories, and connect with audiences. They empower individuals and organizations to land gigs and achieve their full potential, guided by core values like compassion, integrity, and excellence. Recognizing Bill Gates' emphasis on online presence, MBPRP also offers an AI engine that optimizes your business's online presence daily to ensure you thrive. Please help me welcome Martha Brock Leftridge, DTM3.
Thank you so much, Madam Speechcraft Coordinator, and thank all of you and welcome to my presentation. I always like to check first to make sure everyone can see the big screen. Yes, thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Julian. Tonight, my presentation will be something that all of us will always need when we're in Toastmasters. Just as Julian has already shared with us, giving and receiving feedback or just knowing how to do it is so important. And tonight, this presentation will show you how to spearhead feedback, give it, and also be in the right frame of reference when you are given the feedback. Let's start out with what is feedback. In Toastmasters, giving and receiving feedback, as I shared before, these are critical areas where the skill set for speakers are developed, as well as the evaluations are focused really on both strength and areas for improvement using specific constructed language to give speakers all the things that they need while they are listening actively, seeking clarity, or even just starting out for the very first time. Feedback will help anyone in Toastmasters be able to enhance those skills. Giving and receiving feedback, it focuses on a few things. Let's start out with the first thing that I think, the behavior. You've heard this being said somewhere. Behavior is important because it's not the person, it's you framing the feedback around specific actions that a person is bringing before you and you are observing rather than making personal judgment. We've seen that happen a few times. Be specific and balanced. Provide clear examples of what was done well and what could be improved using the evaluation criteria as a guide. And if Julian went before me, he laid that out for you, which was great. Using constructive language, offer phrases that suggest improvement rather than criticism. For example, instead of saying, girl, you know you didn't make no eye contact, because we can do that. We can read a person in a minute. Let's try saying something different. Use the I statement. I suggest making more eye contact. I also would like for you to connect with the audience through that. You're telling them something where they are not going to feel bad about what they're doing, and they will have an opportunity to embrace what you're saying. Now, there's something about this sandwich criticism. How many of you know the sandwich effect of doing a speech evaluation as an evaluator? Start and end with positive observation. Place suggestions for improvement as well as put that meat in the middle. You know what I'm talking about. Julian just talked about it. Boy, we are a two-punch team today. Be timely and offer support. Provide feedback shortly after the speech and offer ongoing support for the speaker's development. Oftentimes, we don't even give those individuals feedback right away. We might wait for days before we even do their evaluation. We have to stop that. We have to do it right away and be positive with what we're going to say, because that is what people remember. Receiving feedback gracefully. Now, here's something that's going to help me as a person who received feedback. The receiving side, it could be a very delicate area, because sometimes you're like this. I'm ready for you to tell me whatever it is that you're trying to tell me right now. And all of a sudden, the grace is not applied. When you receive feedback gracefully, believe it or not, you can hear everything that the person is saying without trying to forward your answer before they finish and put the little pouch on your face where you are mad about what they just said. Remember, these are not experts. We're not experts. We're just observers. And what we are doing is giving you feedback. We need to listen actively. With that same grace, apply this. Do not listen being defensive, because I can tell you right away, if you're defensive, you're going to close out all of what you're going to need to hear from the evaluator. And most of the time, you're only going to hear what your ears are pierced to listen for. So be careful with that. Take away all the defensive. And believe it or not, you are here a dynamic evaluator. Seek clarity in places you don't know. If there's information that was said to you at the end, take them off to the side and say, I didn't quite understand that feedback. Can you make it a little bit more clear on what you meant? And here's a good place for this. You notice when people are doing evaluations, and the evaluator might say, you use truncated verbiage. If the person doesn't know what truncations are, they're going to stop hearing it right there. Remember, we are listening and talking to every day adult learners. We learn differently. We all know that. One ear is in and the other ear is out. There's no in between where it stops. It's going to be left up to you to make it resonate with them. So be careful with how you use feedback and be clear in the way you deliver that feedback. Reflect and plan. Consider how you incorporate the feedback into future speeches as well as leadership roles. Acknowledge the evaluator. Thank the evaluator for their time and the feedback, regardless of whether you agree with them or their comments. All right? And focus on growth. Every time we do feedback, it's an opportunity for me as a person giving feedback to learn, but also the opportunity for the other one to learn as well. At this time, I'm going to fast forward where I'm needing to go, and I want you all to think in terms of the public evaluation. What do you want to learn right now? Learn by doing. Learning by doing means this. Where do I find all of this? Inside of the Toastmasters journey, there's a place where all of us can esteem to, and it's called How to Find the Feedback. I've shared this with a few people before, and what I've found is that a lot of times we don't know where to tell a person to find certain things. That's probably going to be a problem. It'll probably be a problem for me as well as for you and anyone who wants to show people where they can find different things. So one of the best things to do is tell them one thing. How about going to Toastmasters Internationals and logging into there? And when you log into the Toastmasters International site, and I know my time is going to leave me before I get there because my screens are not right now where I need them to be to get you the document that I need. But the point I'm trying to make is I'm going to stop this screen share and then I'm going to go to a place that I believe that can help all of us to find where the feedback is. And that place is, excuse me for a moment, I'm going to exit out of here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this out. And all of my resources, by the way, comes from Toastmasters International, where all of you all have the opportunity to log into there and find all these dynamic things that I'm sharing with you. I know that I will be over about so many seconds here, but just to show you, because Toastmasters International is not moving like it needs to be. As you log into the site, when I do the screen share here, you're logged into the site now and the screen share is going. Everything is in the queue. And what you see, you should see me logged into the site. Do you see that?
I do.
Okay, excellent. So now what you want to do is hover over your name. You go up to the home. And this is some of the easiest things for us all to be able to do. After that, you want to go to Base Camp. Base Camp is your, what we call your bread and butter. Then you go to a place called Feedback. Most of us that are inside of our Toastmasters programs may not know that there are several areas to this. Look at all these dynamic people that is giving me feedback. But this is the feedback here. You can click to give feedback here and you can type it in according to whatever you drop down, whatever the club is, things of that nature, and you can give feedback that way. But here's what's important here. Here's a better resource. You want to give evaluation and feedback because people are not giving that to individuals. Evaluators, here, right here, it tells you speakers here. You, whichever one you are, you click on that. But here's something that is so unique. When people has given you feedback, it's going to show up. It'll show up with the date they gave it and all those kind of things. It will be there. It stays there for you. But when you're ready to give feedback, you want to click on the evaluation form that is related to your speech. Let's say it's an icebreaker speech. There's a digital form for that. Complete and share evaluation. That's what you want to do. Not to send to my evaluator, because you're not doing that. When you share that this way, it's going to come up this way. And believe it or not, it's a document that you can write in. You see, my cursor is showing. I want you all to know how to do this. And once you put all the information in, put all the dated information in, the speech title, you're going to share the evaluation. And when you share the evaluation, it will go directly to that person. I want to thank you all for listening to me today. And I do apologize for being long-winded, because I know that I should be doing 15 minutes, but we can't do that. I'll take what I can get. Thank you all so much. If you have any additional questions, please let me know, and I'll be here more than happy to share that with you. I think I stopped. Did I stop my feedback yet? Okay, thank you. You can't see it, can you?
No.
Okay, thank you. Back to you, Madam Speechcraft Coordinator, one of the best in the world.
Thank you. Thank you. If we can please, by way of emojis or our hands, please let's give a huge round of applause to Martha Brock Lefteridge. How many times? Not one, not two. DTM3. Thank you all for joining me and holding up a 3. Wow. I loved your speech, Martha. I loved your relatable analogies. And thank you for taking that additional time to talk about how one can give feedback, because I know I didn't know anything about it. And so I thank you very much for doing that. It is now Q&A time for Martha, and we are going to first turn to Gail to see if she has any questions for our presenter, our speaker, Martha.
Okay, yeah, well, thank you, Madam Speechcraft Coordinator. I guess, well, my question for Martha, that was a very wonderful speech, very informative, and you kind of have answered a question that I actually have, and it's kind of the same question Julia kind of answered. And when you said learn by doing, and that is what you're emphasizing to me, that in order to be able to become an efficient evaluator, I just have to do it and practice doing it, and practice what I'm learning, the information that has been given to me. And so it has been very helpful. So thank you very much. And I take into consideration everything that you have said, everything that Julian has said. And I will concentrate on seeking clarity, seeking clarification if I don't understand, to get more details and suggestions for, improvements to the speeches that are given in giving my evaluation. So thank you very much for
You're
that
so
very
welcome.
informative speech.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Gail.
Back to
And by
you.
the way, Gail, I'm in one of the clubs with you, and you are a dynamo. You're doing so well. Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Well,
Thanks
thank
for the
you.
question.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. And thank you for those comments, Martha, because we know Gail is one of our newer members. You would never know it, not from the participation we see in Speechcraft. Oh my God, Gail, you're killing it. We may need you as a mentor any day
Oh
now.
my goodness, thank you. I appreciate it. That's what the positive, if positive, the confidence you're instilling into me. Yeah, instilling into me. Yes, so I appreciate it.
Yes.
All the
You are
positive feedback,
welcome.
which I
Yes.
very much needed because I was very anxious.
Well, you are doing it, and we've been there. We have all been there. And so we all know that you're doing a fantastic job. Let's turn now to Elizabeth. Any questions that you have for Martha?
Yes, thank you so much, Martha. I agree with you. The talk that you gave tonight could have been a much longer talk. I liked your demonstration. I really appreciated you taking the time to take us to where the feedback is so that we know how to give feedback electronically using the tools that we have in Pathway. So thank you for that. One of your strengths is giving feedback. I have observed that you enjoy giving feedback. You enjoy making sure people feel appreciated. You enjoy giving out those little medallions. That's not what they're called, but those little boosts to people's morale. Can you remember or recall a time when feedback was not pleasant?
You know what? You're dating me now. Ooh, thank you. That's a great question. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for the question. I remember when we were using the books, the CL, the Competent Communicator, as well as all of the manuals that went to the advanced speeches. I'm one of the early DTMers. I got that first DTM through that booklet. Now, I'm going to tell you something. What gave me pause when I had to give my book, we met in person. I had to reach and get my book and hand it over to another person. And I've got to tell you, when I got that book back, I cringed because I didn't know what the person had written, because they were not my evaluator in that sense. They were the person who was giving me the feedback in the booklet while I was doing the speech. Now, if they were the evaluator and I knew they were, I talked with them in advance. I would call them and say, listen, I want you to listen for my ums and my ahs, because I'm a Southerner. And a lot of times when I would speak, the truncations would come out, and they still do. I've not perfected that yet. And when they would come out, I said, listen for me saying the woulda, shoulda, coulda, because that's what the Southern language is synonymous with, is using broken English instead of using the full word and saying should have or could have. So yes, in the early days, I cringed a lot. I don't cringe as much now, however, but that doesn't mean that I'm not paused when people evaluate me, because I hang on to their every word. I want to know how they saw me. What did they hear me say? And what did I need to work on? I'm always looking to improve. And if you don't believe that, come and stay with me for 1 week. You says, oh my goodness, you're all about the business. Yes, I am. And anybody that I ever train is going to also be about the business, because you can't play with this. Because when you get one DTM, there's an expectation. Did you know that only less than 1% of every person that has ever come into Toastmasters ever esteemed to a DTM? Pay attention to that. I didn't say 1%. It's less than 1% now. Those are the new stats as of 2025 after this last conference.
Yeah.
So yes, I pay attention to all of that. And I thank you, Elizabeth. I'm in a club with you too, and you are Stella as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you
that.
so
Thank you
much.
for sharing.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for taking not just Martha, but a few of us back. And Martha for bringing up the old
Woo.
school books. And I love Martha's transparency. I hope no one missed that. I love, Martha, that you talked about how you felt getting those first few evaluations. It's actually scary when you
Yes, it
first
is.
hear them, but it's to help us improve. They are important. Let's go to Letitia. Any questions you have, Letitia, for Martha?
Thank you, Madam Speechcraft Coordinator. Martha, thank you so much for that presentation. You know, you are the mentor of all time, Sarah Toastmaster. You have helped so many people, and I really appreciate your feedback and your mentorship with me personally. So thank you. This, your presentation, you and Julian's great. They sync together. So thank you for that, Madam Speechcraft Coordinator, of coordinating that together. This is very informative. I guess I got a question for you. Let's see. How do you, if you, you mentioned the importance of when you're receiving feedback to have like an open mind or be, yeah, I guess have an open mind when you're receiving feedback, because with you being a 3-time DTM, of course, as Gail said, I think her question probably would be geared towards someone like you. When you give a speech, I would be intimidated with evaluating you. I need to be looking for something to give you some advice on improving. So how do you, when you're receiving that feedback, what's a tip for yourself? Like when you get that feedback and you hear something that's hard to hear, how do you handle that? If you can give us a tip.
May I just say to you, with all honesty, the best of my ability, there's nothing too hard to hear. Even if it comes across in a different tone. Here's why. I have not become an expert yet. Remember, as much as I know, I'm still learning every day. I'm like one of the people that is inside of a sales room. And you know the number one thing for salespeople is to always be closing. Always, right? With me, it's the same thing. Always be listening for a way to improve, no matter how good I think I am. I could be the top salesman. There's still something I don't know about sales. Even if I went to one of the best sales universities with, I think his name is Jason Edwards. I went to his class. I said, Jason, I'm a neophyte. I don't know anything. But you know what? I was tops at my job and nobody could touch me. I transferred the matrix because they wanted to do the matrix a certain way. And I told them I would break that matrix before it's over. And I did. They had to create a new matrix. What was I doing? What I was doing every day, I came with a game plan. And I come with a game plan every time I train you. When I talk to you, I'm very deliberate. You notice I don't play with you. If you've been under me as a mentee, coachee, whatever you want to call it, you know me. You know my pedigree. I do not play when it comes to you learning something to better yourself. If I've spent time with you, it's only because, not that I'm an expert, it's because I take stock in people who take the time to say, Martha, will you please show me? It's like a little kid running around with a new toy, a new playground. I love it so much because you've asked me, and it means so much to me that I have to hold you delicately so you don't leave until you get what's needed. That's who I am. That's my pedigree. And people that know me, they know my pedigree. And that's what I bring to the table, not as an expert, but someone that has empathy, that can identify with where you are and bring you to the next level. The only reason you won't make it to the next level with me is that you quit, because I won't quit. I won't quit. You can have COVID 3 times like my last DTMer did. And guess what? I stepped right in and carried her, just like God carries me through things. What make me different? Nothing. My willingness. Anyone that knows me knows my willingness. If they don't know my willingness, they don't quite know me. They know of me. I'm hard. I'm not easy, because that's how I want you to be. I want you to be able to apply what you're learning, not just to me, but to the people that you're training. You got 11 people that you're responsible for. Tell people about that. Now, see, I let the cat out of the bag. That's why I'm so hard, because when you walk away from me, it's 11 more individuals in your job that you're responsible for. That's my answer. And guess what? I am going to stick to it. Thank you, darling.
I loved it. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Letitia. I think especially when you get to that DTM space, people think that we're not teachable. We still are. The main thing that you hear from a lot of DTMs, as Martha's relayed, is that it's more about helping others when you reach that level, because you have to do a lot to help others to get to that level. Let's now turn to Gerald. Gerald, any questions from you? I hope you didn't think I forgot about you for Martha.
Uh, well, thank you, Madam Speechcrafter, and to you, Martha, for that wonderful speech and for bringing all the information about pathways at the end. You may actually get me to like pathways one day. My question, I believe, I felt that Elizabeth sort of stole it from me, but my question is, if you look at that Toastmasters path that you've been on, can you come up with one particular feedback or time that helped you change the way that you speak that you felt was effective and made a big difference?
Thank you for the question, Gerald. And it's such a great question. All of you know that I do not stand by myself when I do anything. The giant that stands on the side of me is my husband, Prince. I'll put Prince up against anybody, because excuse me, please do not charge this to me as a professional. But when I start talking about him, what people don't know is I was in college and I finagled my way through and I couldn't read. I want you guys to listen to me. So when I met Prince, Prince was the one who brought me out of my Southern heritage. He took me by the hand, and because he had majored in speech pathology, he started working with me. When I stand before you today, from being a Toastmaster since 2007, 9, it was Prince who I met in 2005 that changed my life. So when Prince is doing my evaluation inside of New Faith, and you all hear him all the time, he does not let me off the hook. You guys know he starts with me. He starts with me because I'm still a work in progress. When you have giants like Prince that can stand with you, there's nothing that you can't overcome. There's nothing that you can't do. The reason I'm so teary, just imagine if I had not met Prince, where I would be. I would be an educated fool. I would have several degrees, working on a PhD, and could not do interpretation and reading. I want to submit something to each of you. When you work closely with people, the empathy will come out. I've worked so closely with people. And when I was able to ask them certain questions and they gave answers, they sounded like me and what I went through, because I was a Southerner and I went to school in the South in the education system, and they had done the same. And when they did that, they shared it with me. I was not in a place where I could embrace them, but I wanted to embrace them. So all I'm saying to you, don't always listen for yourself. Listen for cues when people identify with you. When I hear Julian speak, I think about my husband, Prince. Very educated, very good with words. Yeah, I've got a an area where I identify people with people that are dear to me. So, guys, when people are evaluating me, it be Prince. Yeah, I said it like a Southerner. It be Prince, the one that I be listening to, because he evaluates me all the time. And if you're in New Faith, you already know he will not let Martha off the hook. And Martha, he go in after me, and I be over here like this. I have to take it because I want to be better. That's my answer for you, young man. I hope you can take that to heart and understand when Prince is working closely with you and sharing things, he's got your best interest, Gerald, at heart because the passion that he exudes when he's sharing with you an evaluation, it's coming from the heart and it's dialed in directly for the person he's given that to, whether it's a grammarian, accountant's role, or an evaluation role. So take it to heart. When you want to be better, you're not getting ready to hang out with pigeons. I tell you that. Because pigeons, they got wings and they won't even fly. Back to you, Madam Speech
Speechcraft.
Coordinator.
Thank
Speech
you, Gerald, for the
Coordinator.
question.
Ugh.
And thank you, Martha, for your
Ooh.
strength, for your honesty and truth, because it helps us. Thank you very much. For our speech crafters, we're going to engage in a brief roundtable discussion. Its purpose is to emulate somewhat what we do in Toastmasters International called Table Topics. I will present a topic and I will give you just a really quick response, and then I'll call on our speech crafters to give their reply. Our roundtable quick question here to hear some tips from the speech crafters on is in what ways do you exhibit effective listening skills? For me, I try not to interrupt the speaker and I focus in on what they're actually saying. Letitia, how do you effectively listen? What are some skills that you use to exhibit that?
Thank you, Madam Speechcraft Coordinator. Let's get my mute off. That's a great question. I usually am listening using eye contact, being able to repeat something that someone is talking about, maybe like referencing, like, you mentioned that you're having a hard time with X, Y, and Z. Let's talk about how we can, combat that possibly. So those are some of the quick things that I do for effective listening, just to ensure that you listen. Thank you for that
All
question.
right, great job. Thank you, Letitia. Let's turn now to Gail. What about you, Gail?
Okay, thank you, Madam Speechcraft Coordinator. Okay, that's a very good question. And so it is, what do we do to exhibit effective listening skills?
You are
I guess one thing is concentrate on the key words that are being said or key phrases so that I can remember the positive points for giving, valuable, feedback later on. And so I guess that's the thing, try to concentrate on key points and key phrases. And that's what I try to do. So thank you. Back to you. No.
all right. I love it. Thank you, Gail. Let's turn now to Gerald.
Gee, thank you, Madam Speechcrafter. When I'm listening to a person, the first thing I try to listen to, are they making logical sense? If they're making logical sense, then I try to listen to it regardless if I agree or not agree. And if they don't make logical sense, then I use my male listening skills. Back to you, Madam Speechcrafter.
I have to recover. Oh, we always have to recover, those of us that know Gerald after he speaks. Thank you, Gerald. Let's
Oh,
turn
no
now.
problem.
Let's turn now to Elizabeth. What is your response, please?
Well, thank you for that excellent question. In what ways do I exhibit good listening skills? Well, I've been listening to Napoleon Hill lately, and he says that if you don't write it down, it doesn't exist. Now, I've heard that before. And so, one of the things I like to do if I have an opportunity, if I am in an environment that I take notes. But I also practice listening to the person and not letting my mind drift on other things, not letting my mind figure out what they're going to say next or try to anticipate what they're going to say. I just try to be here now and focus on what they're saying so that I can respond. Back to you, Madam Speechcraft Coordinator.
I love it. Outstanding response. Thank you, Elizabeth. Everyone, as we look to now close out session 4, I can't believe it. I can't believe we are now done as of today. I have to thank the New Faith Toastmasters Club, one of my clubs, for sponsoring this particular Speechcraft program. We can give New Faith a huge hand. Thank you so much to the New Faith Toastmasters Club members. Thank you to the 5 committed speech crafters, another hand for our speech crafters as well. Also, our 8 presenters, all of them, without a shadow of the doubt, did a fantastic job. A huge applause for them. And then we had 3 listeners along the way, all of them from my other Toastmasters Club, which is the Hispano Americano Toastmasters Club, being Carol, Mike, and Maureen, who joined in the course of us doing Speechcraft. I think by Speechcraft number 2, she told us she joined. A special thank you to Carol, Mike, as well as Maureen. I am going to conclude by asking one of my good friends to come up. I have known this Toastmaster for over 20 years. He was one of the first people that I met in Toastmasters, and I've been in now for 26 years. He is currently in the Pathways Innovative Planning Level 4 program, and I'm sure he'll keep moving forth and now being encouraged by Martha giving those statistics to work toward his DTM. He is a retired major with the United States Army National Guard, and he has served dozens of years, 20 plus years, doing service. And we are definitely grateful for your service and sacrifice. Bring him up and ask him to completely close us out here with an area in Toastmasters we call the parting thought. There are some clubs that give maybe an inspirational message at the end, some clubs like the New Faith Toastmasters Club that prays at the end, but we're going to hear, and his voice will be the last we hear for our session, what Gerald Crawford has to say for our parting thought for all of our Speechcraft sessions and program. Gerald Crawford, I turn the virtual lectern to you.
Thank you, Madam Speech Crafter. To all my other fellow speech crafters, let's bow our heads and we ask Father God to give us all love and affection for each other. We also ask, Father God, that you help us to find love in our hearts. For over the last few weeks, we hear about an assassination in one place, 3 officers killed in Pennsylvania this week, and there are so many people who are going through things that I don't even know about. We ask that you cover them, give them love, and give them ability. We ask that you help us with the skill that we're learning to talk to each other, that we all learn to talk to each other, listen to each other, give feedback to each other, and be better people. For only by listening and helping each other can we become and work together as a family in Christ. So go forth this day under the strength of your name. Amen.
Amen. Speechcraft Coordinator Credentials. Teresa Banks, Distinguished Toastmaster, has been a member of Toastmasters for 26 years. During that time, she's belonged to 4 different clubs. She's currently a member of the Hispano-Americano and New Faith Toastmasters clubs, and is a preferred trainer for District 103. She served in 6 of the 7 club officer roles and has won Toastmasters awards at the club area, division, and district levels. In her Toastmasters journey, she's been named Toastmaster of the Year, Club Ambassador of the Year, and Area Director of the Year. She set a goal to complete her second DTM before June of 2026. On a personal level, Teresa works full-time in the field of information technology and runs a publishing business in her spare time named LSEC Publishing. She's authored 5 books and teaches several publishing classes online. She hosts a live stream program entitled LSEC Publishing Live, and it broadcasts the 3rd Sunday of every month at 3:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. Individuals interested in listening to the broadcast are encouraged to subscribe to the LSEC Publishing YouTube channel. Speechcrafter Credentials. Dr. Keisha Kareem is an author and the executive director of a family-owned business that provides residential care to persons with developmental and intellectual disabilities. She obtained her doctorate degree in organizational leadership and completed her dissertation on the relationship between stress and emotional intelligence. Her analysis proved that high EI contributes to lower stress and low EI contributes to higher stress. Since joining Toastmasters in 2020, Dr. Kareem has served as an area director, club coach, treasurer, and secretary. She has also participated in local and area speech contests. As a lifelong learner, Dr. Kareem's next goal is to obtain her DTM. Elizabeth Stevenson, Distinguished Toastmaster, joined Toastmasters in 2006 as a member of the AT&T Toastmasters Corporate Club. Since that time, she's held all 7 club officer roles and has been a club mentor, club coach, and a club sponsor. In 2011, she was a founding member of the New Faith Toastmasters Club. Elizabeth has served in numerous roles with District 3, District 30, and District 103. She managed 2 Toastmasters annual conferences in 2010 and 2024 for District 30. And she managed a 3rd Toastmasters annual conference for District 103 in 2023. She's a versatile leader that served as a Toastmasters Leadership Institute trainer. She was the Sergeant at Arms for District 30 from 2014 to 2015, a South Division Speech Contest guru for District 103 from 2021 to 2022 and 2022 to 2023, and a parliamentarian for District 103 from 2021 to 2022. Elizabeth is a former speech contest winner of table topics and evaluation contests, and currently serves as District 30's Toastmasters Club Growth Director for the 2025 to 2026 Toastmasters year. Letitia Coleman is a Toastmasters leader, people development advocate, and passionate strategic communicator. She's a dedicated leader with a strong background in team development and organizational growth. She currently serves as the Area 92 Director for Toastmasters International, where she supports multiple clubs in achieving excellence through education, mentorship, and member engagement. Letitia's Toastmasters journey began in May of 2022, and since then, she's held multiple leadership roles, including Vice President of Membership, Vice President of Education, and twice as an Area Director. She's actively working through the presentation mastery and dynamic leadership educational tracks, and is known for fostering a welcoming and high energy environment in every meeting. Professionally, Letitia has used her customer experience knowledge for over 17 years in the Managed Services Division of Thermo Fisher Scientific, providing integrated lab support solutions to clients in the life sciences and healthcare industries. Her expertise lies in people and talent development and cross-functional team leadership. Letitia believes that effective communication is the foundation of strong leadership. Toastmasters has empowered her to combine her personal growth with her professional mission, which is to uplift others and drive results through clarity, confidence, and connection. Presenter credentials. Cassandra Lee, Distinguished Toastmaster, is a past District Director for District 103, Certified Virtual Presenter, and known as the Diva of Dialogue. She is an active member of Toastmasters International who has presented over 3,000 speeches, workshops, and training programs inside and outside of Toastmasters. She is an author of 9 publications, 2 of which have earned honors as an Amazon bestseller, and 1 which received the Professional Women's Network International Literary Award. Cecilia Palmer, Distinguished Toastmaster, has been touching lives in public schools and beyond since 1987. She has over 3 decades of experience as an educator, minister, author, restorative justice bullying consultant, leadership specialist, motivational speaker with elementary, middle, high school, collegiate, and corporate organizations. Cecilia has dedicated her life to working with at-risk students, victims of bullying, and students involved in gangs through educational, institutional, and faith-based organizations. Cecilia has worked with police and correctional officers, social workers, teachers, and many other professionals. She currently resides in Calumet City, Illinois, with her husband, Lamont. Cecilia is a certified gang specialist with the National Gang Crime Research Center. She has a master's degree in educational administration and is currently completing her doctorate in educational leadership. Gerald Crawford participated as a speech crafter and presenter during this Speechcraft program. He's completed level 4 of Toastmasters Pathways Innovative Planning Program. He's been a member of Toastmasters for decades and has been associated with 4 clubs located in 3 different states. He's currently part of the Manassas Toastmasters Club in Virginia and New Faith Toastmasters Club in Illinois. He's an award-winning speaker who's won multiple first-place trophies at the club, area, and division levels for international speech and table topics contests. Julian Wiley, Distinguished Toastmaster, began his Toastmasters journey in 2009 when he joined ABA Speakeasies, Club number 9424. He has served District 103 since its inception in 2017 and was the recipient of the District Toastmaster of the Year Award in 2019. He is committed to lifelong learning and therefore a strong supporter of speech evaluations as a means to educate as well as evaluate. Martha Brock Leftridge, DTM, has achieved Distinguished Toastmaster 3 times and completed all Pathways paths twice. She has served in district leadership 7 times, including a stint as District 3's Public Relations Manager. Her dedication extends to serving numerous times as a sponsor, coach, and mentor in both District 3 and District 103, coaching and mentoring numerous members in both districts to DTM status. She has also trained and mentored many members on topics like pathways and free toast hosts, been a TLI facilitator 5 times, assisted the program quality director in ensuring division and area directors attended training, and served twice as the District 103 coach coordinator. Samuel Brooks, Innovative Planning Level 5, Team Collaboration Level 5, has been a member of Toastmasters for 12 years. He has served in several club offices as well as serving as area director, division director, and club retention chair on the district level. He has completed the Innovative Planning and Team Collaboration in the Pathways Educational Program and is presently working on Level 4 in the Visionary Communication Program of Pathways. Since joining Toastmasters, Samuel has experienced significant learning and growth in the areas of communication and leadership. As a lifelong learner, he continues to learn and grow with each experience. Samuel is presently a member of the Park Forest and Chicago Speakeasy Toastmasters clubs. Sandra Lane is a distinguished Toastmaster. She's also the immediate past district director for District 103, where she led more than 80 clubs across Chicagoland during Toastmasters International's 100th anniversary year. With 14 years of Toastmasters experience, she is known for creating inspiring Black History Month programs, highlighting the talent of District 103 Toastmasters while imparting valuable information and celebrating our history. Sandra is a former global program manager in the credit card industry. She has traveled the world and expands and manages airport lounge programs. Sandra has been nominated for Discover's prestigious President's Award for exceptional performance. Now semi-retired, she continues to mentor and inspire others while enjoying life as a wife, mother, and proud grandmother to 6-year-old twin boys. Speechcraft program details. Speechcraft is a blended learning program designed to provide optimal support for learners interested in building their communication and public speaking skills. The directed learning portion of Speechcraft is delivered by an experienced public speaker, most often a member of Toastmasters International. The follow-up or individual learning intended to support the in-person sessions is delivered online through interactive materials designed specifically for adult learners. The online projects include instruction on subjects that are designed to directly and immediately impact each learner's public speaking skills. The projects include information that we will see on the next 2 pages. There are 8 different Speechcraft project topics. The first one is Choose a Topic. This project focuses on defining a topic that will deliver a speaker's message while supporting the needs and expectations of an audience. The second topic is Prepare to Present. The heart of successful public speaking begins with a solid topic and a well-written speech. It ends with accomplished delivery of that speech. This project focuses on how to write a speech that conveys a message and on methods learners can use to prepare for their presentation. The third topic is vocal variety. The subtle impact of voice and vocal variety goes far beyond avoiding a monotone speech delivery. This project includes information on how to use voice and presence to support the successful delivery of a message to an audience. The fourth topic is Powerful Words. This project emphasizes the importance of word choice when delivering a message. Practice includes understanding how to identify and deploy powerful language to create images and move an audience to action. The fifth topic is Know Your Purpose. As learners write and deliver speeches, the focus of the Speechcraft program shifts to the higher level skills required to succeed as a communicator and speaker. One of those skills is to identify and deliver a purposeful message when speaking to a group. The sixth topic is body language. Another step to redefining public speaking skills is to understand the impact of movement, gestures, and facial expressions on the effective delivery of a speech. This project focuses on developing a skilled approach to body language when delivering a speech. The seventh topic is How to Evaluate. This project includes the opportunity to review a speech and deliver feedback using evaluation materials available from Toastmasters. Learners who complete this project gain insight and practice completing an evaluation and providing professional supportive feedback. The eighth topic is Giving and Receiving Feedback. Part of the Toastmasters experience reflected in Speechcraft is an emphasis on evaluation and feedback. Feedback is core to communication, learning, and leadership. This project focuses on how to receive an evaluation and how to share supportive, effective feedback with others. Each participant of this Speechcraft program was provided with a virtual background. Our theme for Speechcraft was harnessing your powerful voice. That particular phrase was incorporated into our virtual background that we use for each Speechcraft session. The virtual background is pictured here.